rainy day here in Oshawa, Ontario. It's moving day at the Canadian Junior Cup.
Okay, top four.
Hello everyone tuning in and welcome to Draw 6 here at the World Financial Group Canadian Junior Cup. Once again, my name is Matthew Hall, bringing you all the live action throughout the week as we finish our round robin play today as teams try to vie for a playoff spot. Sitting beside me in the booth once again is Mary Chilvers. Thank you for coming, Mary.
Thanks for having me, Matt.
And let's take a look at our feature matchup for the day. We've got Team Zemmelink representing the Guelph Curling Club facing off against Team Pekowitz from the Broomstones and Ardsley Curling Clubs. Starting off with Team Pekowitz throwing the red stones. Lead, Alexandra Pekowitz. Second, Megan Stapera. The skip and throwing third stones is Julia Pekowitz, and their fourth is Addison Neal. Team Zemmelink throwing the yellow stones with the hammer to start. Lead, Tori Zemmelink. Second, Kaylee Delaney. The vice, Lauren Radula. And the skip is Emma Artichuk. And as we tune in here and pick up action in the first end, looks like we're going to have some rocks in play here right off the bat, Mary. No surprises. Both these teams very experienced. We got quite a few national silver medalists on both sides. Team Pekowitz, the American U21 and U18 silver medalists from last year, as well as a very accomplished team on the Zemmelink side. We got a couple of Canadian champions, Youth Olympic participants, some Canadian silver medalists. I think we're in for a good battle today.
Wow, that's pretty impressive lineup, Matt. And yeah, the first shot that was called was a center line guard, so you kind of knew right then and there, okay, these girls are here to play. So it's great to see.
It was a draw for hammer to determine, draw to the button to determine who would get the hammer to start in this game. Zemmelink's team wasting no time drawing the pinhole with their last rock of their practice. Team Pekowitz trying to match them, slipped a little bit far, so it is Team Zemmelink starting with the hammer and the yellow stones, and a big advantage to start this game. We just saw both of Tori's shots there to start. Interesting lineup change on the Zemmelink squad. Tori originally was the fourth rock thrower and the skip to start the season, and they've decided to make the change, and Tori is now throwing lead. Emma Artichuk is now the skip and fourth rock thrower, has moved up from the vice position. All of them very capable. Of course, I don't think that's necessarily the issue, but maybe just not quite where they wanted to be throughout the first half of the season. Wanted to change things up, and I was talking to them before the game. They're quite happy with how things are going so far this weekend.
Well, that's good, and you know, when it's a skip that moves to the lead position, you know, if she's willing to do that, that's what you call a team player. You know, four of them can curl out there. It's just a matter of who's best in which position, and it's all about you know, playing as a team and getting some wins on the board. So
we get a first look at Kaylee Delaney here throwing the second stones for the Zemmelink squad.
Whoa, 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 back in, yep, yep. Hard, Lauren. Back forward, back in, yep. Whoa. Set. Back line.
And Team Zemmelink off to a pretty good start here with the yellow stones. Have a very good position.
13-9.
The Americans coming up a little bit light on their freeze attempt on their second rock and a tough flash on that last stone, so they've got a hole to dig themselves out of here already without the hammer.
yeah, they do. Luckily, that red guard near the center line is pretty high, so they've got some room here to make a play on the yellow rocks that are sitting top 12.
Still plenty of rocks to come too here. If you can get rid of at least one of these in the top 8, if you get a half shot from Team Zemmelink, you might be able to follow them down, make a freeze, get yourself out of trouble. This wants to curl up a little bit.
Okay.
And just like that, I think that'll sort of do the job. As long as if Team Artichuk is continues to place rocks effectively, they're going to apply a lot of pressure to Team Pekowitz, but all you need now is kind of a half shot miss, and if you can capitalize on that, you can get yourself out of trouble. It definitely isn't a perfect situation.
Line's good. Just fighting, drop ball. Yep, line. Yep, line.
Team Artichoke actually spends most of their time playing on the women's tour. This is one of, if not their only U21 level event of the season prior to their provincial championships.
16-6.
And I think that's a great way to learn to improve your skills by playing against those top women's teams. And, you know, they've had a pretty good season. Not to say that they've had a poor season by any means, but when you play up at that level, you're going to get beat a lot, but you learn a lot from it as well.
Absolutely. Oh, yeah. That Artichoke herself, she's been playing in the U18, U21 since I can remember, since I started commentating. So I'm assuming this might be her last year in the U21s. It's got to be close for a lot of these girls. And that'll be nice to see them moving up to the ladies' ranks.
And lots of experience already for fairly young careers. We mentioned Lauren Radula has been to the Youth Olympic Games. She was Canadian junior champion 1 year, U18 champion. Looking around, you got Tori, who's a Canada Games champion, 4th at the Canadian juniors with Kaylee. Emma herself, silver medalist at the Canadian juniors and U18s, OUA champion. Plenty of experiences you look around, lots to draw from, but you're never really done learning, and you have to continue to sort of push yourself to that higher level, keep learning that, because that jump from juniors to the men's or women's level is a lot bigger than you think it is.
Yes. You're right, and you're never done learning in this sport. It's always something new.
First look at Lauren Radula here. Trying to draw around this corner. I think I like this, Mary. I was thinking of if there was any way you could maybe rearrange the rocks in the top 12 foot to your advantage. This has to sit down.
13-8.
Yeah, they were going on that for line, but it
13-8.
it had a ton of weight. That was definitely going to be all over the guard.
Yeah, possibly maybe the broom not in the right spot. You'd think with that extra weight, the guard really shouldn't be an issue. Maybe just got a little soft with it.
13-8.
Use an opportunity for Julia Pekowitz here throwing the third stones to come down, remove one of these yellow rocks. Fairly imperative that I think you throw a controllable weight that you can stay on top of the yellows and not roll off into the open.
It's got a lot of weight on this one, Matt. Looks like she's definitely rolling out.
Sorry.
So perhaps maybe bringing the weight down a bit on a shot like that. As you said, keeping the shooter around is pretty important.
Yeah, if the yellows were wide open and there was a way to make a double, I don't mind throwing it a little bit harder. It didn't really look like there was to me. And I think by throwing it hard and losing the shooter, you're always just going to give Lauren Radula the free chance to draw one in there.
Right.
Maybe if you don't even stay on top of the yellows, but if you throw a controlled weight and just roll into the open, you now force Lauren to hit it, and I think you're probably going to end up getting more room to work with by forcing the other team to play your stone rather than just rolling out, and as we see here, giving her the free opportunity to learn draw weight and put a rock in a good spot.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know how much, that's something that all these teams have coaches. And that is, I would say, one of the number one things I think you should teach these teams is about just what you said. About, it's not as much what you make as what you leave.
Mm-hmm.
So that is so important.
When Lauren's first, you were trying to call for the wick at the end, right?
Yeah. I just heard you delete.
No, that's okay.
The fourth rock
I was
thrower
like hoping
for
for a line,
the
and then I was
Americans
like,
is
if they're
Addison
down
Neal.
back 8, back 12, if they're sweeping this, it's gone. So
This one needs to curl up. It's on the corner guard right now. Will just touch it, miss everything in the house. So Team Artichoke sitting 3 and throwing. Skips first.
yeah,
And the U.S. side is going to have a lot of work to
This
do
was
with
my
this
first
last
thought.
stone.
Okay.
I
I'm
feel
even
if they're
thinking like
gonna
here.
escape from
Just
this end.
like split the difference, make the
Well, I'm
take away the
thinking
hit and
she
roll.
can't hit and roll if
No,
we're
but this one
here.
she can, right?
Yeah, like
So-
right in the center.
Right
Where's
there.
the
I
best
love-
place
I
to
love
put
that.
this, Mary?
Oh,
I
thought she
want
was
to be in the
something.
ring somewhere. I think
Mhm.
it's
Probably
worth
that.
sitting for
I think
if you
so.
can.
I
That's
think
really-
My
second
first
pass is a
thought
hair
was
heavy
maybe
and a
to
little
try
jiggle.
and
I think so.
tap
'Cause I
that
was given
rock
there to
top
get to
8
center,
somewhere,
so-
but
This should be close.
I guess I'd be a
Yeah,
little
if it's
bit
right
worried
up turn too, I
about
think that should be fine.
if you tap
there?
too far, you might leave an in off.
Right.
Double, you probably leave an easy double. Is top 12 probably the best you're thinking?
You like this?
Yeah, I think so.
Going right in
Just
the middle, blocking both rolls.
obviously something. I don't ever like tapping rocks if I don't have to,
Mm.
because they're one of
Yeah,
the harder
perfect spot
shots
is right
to
in
make
the
perfect.
middle, top 12.
So yeah, she's calling
Block
it just
both rolls.
top 12. And honestly, if
It's
you're
real
leaving a
quick,
double,
yeah.
I think it's more
second
important
best though is a little tap on this one
after
and
they
just
make
a
the
little
double
flop
that you
over.
actually still have a shot for.
I don't think a
for
guard is
three.
very helpful here. So
We've been seeing that this side of the
Yeah.
ice has curled a fair bit more
Nice
than
and
the other way. Broom just outside edge of the
time logged off?
4-foot though, so possible it's starting to straighten out as the
That's like
week goes on. Or this is the side of the sheet that they did their pregame practice on, so they should have a good idea of where the broom needs to go.
Yes, fine! Yes,
Some
fine!
curling early.
Fine! Fine! Oh, oh. 16.
And ends up playing the shot I was thinking.
Mhm.
sorry,
So
because I thought
pretty
that ice
nice
would have been
still
result.
ends
fine.
up in a good spot, yeah. Not
Could've been fine,
sure,
my bad.
it
I think if you double that,
might be a triple on those 3 rocks and down the center
I
line,
thought that ice
but
was gonna be fine. I just curled up.
16.
Double. Wow. Okay.
You like to double? And just say no? Like what you were saying. Okay. Well, wait.
I think
Say
all in all,
extra?
just
I
probably
think-
not
yeah,
enough
100%,
ice
yeah.
for that shot. It,
Yeah.
I
it
think
didn't
it's
really
good
seem
ice,
panicked out of the
sorry.
hand.
Yeah.
Seemed like
She plays
they
double
liked the
and
way
not
she
straight.
threw it. I was a bit surprised to see the broom come
I don't
down
think what I
just
just threw,
outside
yeah.
edge of the
I don't
floor.
think so.
Based on what we've been seeing all week,
Yeah.
Right.
I was thinking
I think-
closer to
I think
edge
you
of
have to
8
throw it real hard.
might look okay,
edge
but
If you're just with.
still ends up in a really good spot.
just off her
Definitely a
broom.
double
Yeah, exactly.
chance here.
And that same weight's fine for the draw.
I'd love to get another one. Making a double here and giving up
It
just to
actually
give
didn't
up
end in a terrible
3
spot with the overthrow
isn't a-
because that flop under
Yeah.
is
isn't
so
a
much better
desirable
now.
prospect here in the
If
first.
even there.
No, it's
Yeah.
not. She has no choice as to she has
Well, that
to
was my
hit something. But
biggest
like you say,
concern
Matt,
was
there's really
not being able to get to there.
if
so,
she makes
yeah.
a double, she's lucky.
Yeah, we'll just be careful with.
She might
those
keep her
spots.
shooter
Yeah, even
around
Lauren
though,
started
and
curling up in her- I just thought just 'cause I was-
might make it a little
Lauren out
harder
in
for the
practice?
opposition to
I was just nervous.
not jam on their last one.
Big shot by Addison Neal here. Call it a game saver in the first. Gets 1,
Oh,
touches 2,
Oh.
but just not enough
Yeah, I
weight
guess
there to
coming
remove
here, eh?
2 yellow stones.
Shot a little less ice.
Looks as though
Probably
it's
there.
still 3 yellow at the
You gotta give it
moment.
to them.
Yeah.
So it's a draw to the 8-foot
Same weight,
for a
16.
4th point here for Emma Artichoke.
Inch less? Or do you think that's okay?
And an added benefit, she's going to get to
That's
throw that
okay.
same path she just did. So should have a pretty good guess.
Are we third?
Yeah. I agree. This is mid 4. Or do you think we can get away with an inch less? That was my first thought. Was maybe an inch less.
this shot's
Let's
kind of
just
a
go
skip
with
stream,
inch
Matt.
less. I'd
because
literally
it's
rather
kind of
wrap
a-
it hard.
well, it's pressure. You want to, you know, you
no, see,
definitely you want to get that fourth point in
Okay.
there, but it's a more of a relaxed throw, I would say. She just threw the draw, so she kind of knows the weight.
Oh,
So final rock here in the first end and a chance to put a crooked number up. Need full 8 for the 4 points.
no, line's fine.
Kayla, go now. Go now. You have to.
Definitely needs to start curling soon. Looks like it'll just whisker off the red, roll into the 8-foot. Did she push the red too far? doesn't quite look at it. They kick the rocks away. Looks like it's a 4. And the score goes up on the board. Confirmed it is 4 points for Team Artichoke. They take a 4-0 big lead here after the first end. But when we come back,
Peace of mind, the life you want, and financial independence. At World Financial Group, we believe your path to any of these goals is paved by financial knowledge. That's why our agents spend every day empowering individuals and families of all backgrounds with the knowledge to create the life they want. No matter your financial goals, WFG can help you own your future. Visit worldfinancialgroup.com to learn more.
That would have been what, T-line? It's only the first time we've come back from the 7,000.
we're back picking up play in that after that big first end for Team Artichoke.
Line's good.
Scoring 4.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think I need to explain how big a crooked number can be like that. Still early in the game, of course. 7 ends to play. Lots of time to go for the Americans.
You guys got it. Go, go.
But you're gonna have to strike back pretty quickly. I think you don't have a lot of time to work with anymore.
Yeah, I would agree. It's there's the first mistake, I would say, though, by the Artichoke team, putting that rock in front of the rings. I think they wanted to put that one in the rings, being up 4 points. So that's a bit of a break for the American team, and now a corner guard will go up. American team are going to want to get lots of rocks in play.
3, 4,
It's going to be very fast down this path. Sweepers are
4, 5,
not liking
6,
it
7,
so far.
back 8,
Yeah, it's
Back
looking
12,
quite
back
heavy.
8.
He's gonna need to put the brakes on
back 8,
if it wants to stick around.
back 12, through. 8. Okay. Four, 5.
I was with you yesterday, Matt, and I saw a little bit of that
What'd you say?
happening because, they're timing the
yeah.
ice. T-line is 16 seconds hot to
make your
hot. So
What's up,
very,
Epstein?
very fast ice, and it's usually a little quicker going to the corners when you're putting up corner guards. You got to remember that
Bigger
and
ad.
give it to your
Line's
sweeper.
good. Well done. Hot back
Yeah,
four.
it did seem like this morning it might have slowed down a touch. I think a couple times I got about 15-5 for a draw during our U18 game. See if I can get a time on this one. 15-6.
Sorry, I just couldn't hear you guys.
So it feels like it might have come down just a touch since yesterday,
Sorry, I
maybe
just
just a
couldn't hear
couple
you.
feet.
It's
But
me.
still, very
No,
quick
it was
ice
just, like,
conditions,
getting
and
lost.
that's something you
Sorry.
really need to stay on top of.
Okay.
Yeah, you got to
Okay.
believe it,
Yeah.
and it's hard to
Because
believe
we had to go
sometimes
for
it's that
like line
fast.
at first, and I was straightening it out. I'm like, okay.
They'll try again to put up that corner guard.
Good judge, though.
Sometimes I found when I've been in that situation, just can't pull the leg drive back enough.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you just have to over-exaggerate once or twice.
See?
Just toss up a high
See?
guard if your sweepers have to work it, but
top 8.
overcompensate and then try to find that middle ground.
Where is it? There?
So this is
Oh, it's
where, when you
T-line.
know it's
Okay.
heavy and it's in the rings, I would sweep that one to be behind the T line.
Like a
Because you
4:30
can later on perhaps use it to freeze to, something like that. You
Okay,
can
yeah.
use it more. Now Artichoke here is going to hit it
4:15.
and try to get the roll over to the center line, and she'll be in front of
Probably
the
like a
T
third
line.
like it
Just
was
makes
over
it a
there.
little harder
Okay.
for the U.S. team.
Kaylee Delaney. Team Artichoke wanted me to give a shout out to their coach Sean Turriff, who's currently down in Vegas actually at the moment.
Hard,
So
Lauren. Yeah.
I'm
Roll.
I have
Okay,
to
we're
say I'm a
just
little bit jealous.
Yeah.
Weather's
Two
pretty
right.
nice down there. I was actually just down there last week for work. About 15 to 20 degrees all week. I was outside in the pool at one point, the hot tub the other day.
Nice. A little nicer than here, that's for sure.
A little better than 2 degrees and a bit rainy.
Right. Yeah. Well, the U.S. team has some rocks to work with here. She's
Straight.
going to play the freeze on
Straight.
the yellow rock
Wait,
sitting
don't
on the
let her fix.
button.
Yeah.
A freeze or a freeze tap would be a great shot.
You have to go.
Yeah, really important for the sweepers to make sure
You have to go.
that this rock stays above the yellow. Now,
Hold that in.
they had to go for line. Ends up just chipping off the guard. Spins just behind
Good
the tee
way,
line,
just-
so it was probably a little bit heavy,
Yep,
but they
yeah.
had to go for line. Really important on those that
Probably
you
best way
give
to
yourself
go.
enough ice. I find a lot of
Guys, this-
teams, especially on those
Like
freezes,
this.
sometimes feel like they have to play it so close to the guard.
Mm-hmm.
There's enough curl out here that you can probably get by a guard by maybe a foot and still be okay. The important thing is that your weight's good. So if you throw that top 8 weight, top 4 weight, give your sweepers the chance to work with it. They can sweep to try and get that little bit of extra curl if they need to at the end. But I found, especially with the way sweeping's evolved over the last couple of years, that the tolerance is sometimes has shifted a lot more towards you can be that shade wide on the throw as long as your weight's okay.
Right.
And your sweepers can
Whoa,
get you that
whoa,
little bit extra, those couple inches if you need it.
Hard line. Roll away. Second shot. Straight. Oh, we're nosing it. Okay.
Team
Sorry.
Pekowitz wanted to give a shout out to all the family back
just
in
for again,
Massachusetts tuning in to watch. They said there'd be quite a bit, so
She was in the middle of the 8 foot before. That's good.
We're ripping the
great how things are now that you can
425.
stay at home wherever you are, south of the border or
Yep.
even anywhere in Canada, and just tune in and watch.
Yes. Nice for the family members that can't be here.
402. Almost, she didn't add though. 6, 7, 7. Back 8. Straight. Straight. Hard straight. Hard straight. Okay. All right.
Not a bad shot there. She's tapped those yellow ones to be a little bit farther back. Does leave Artichoke an open
Energy just
hit.
went up.
I think at this
Lauren.
point she wants to hit this and stick
Yeah,
right
fine.
there.
I'm trying to get it up. Yeah, that's okay.
Even though she is creating some opportunities for
Yeah, I'm
the
try- I can't
U.S.
give you
team by
one.
leaving all these rocks in the ring. So if you have to leave them in there, they're best to be
Oh,
in front of the tee line
Probably
as
like music
opposed
like-
to the back.
Yeah, I mean, looking at the
I also-
situation
Sorry!
right now,
Hard,
this rock needs to do some curling if it's not going to jam. We'll see where it ends up first.
Hard.
Might touch the back one.
That's
Just does,
fine.
pushes it through. I know what you mean, Mary.
That's pretty
Maybe
good. I just-
before, when those rocks were both
I
sort of
didn't
a
get that. I
pocket
just thought she was
behind the
just
tee line, I was maybe
releasing it
starting to
just
get a little
tracked.
bit
She
worried
got-
about
it's like
it.
a 420.
Now with the situation,
That's
none of
her
these
for-
rocks are sort of starting to present too much of an issue. There's really no good freezes or taps that's going to help the Pekowitz team. I think the call here
I
is
thought you were a hair firm.
just to try and lose one behind that guard.
Mm-hmm.
Knowing the skill level of this Team Artichoke, they'll probably walk up and try the run back, and you're sort of just hoping they miss a run back. You can toss another red in there, try to get a two back. Looks like the blank is probably out of the question at this point with how many rocks are in the rings.
Yeah, and it's tough when you're down 4 points and you're getting close to the end of the second end, and you've got nothing going. Really, you've got nothing going. So
Always straight. Take a look. Yep. 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 Straight. Straight.
Yeah, and a lot of times I'll preach patience
Megan,
to teams in many situations. You see a lot of times teams will give up a 2 in the first end and just go way too hard to try and get it back in the second, and by the time you get to the third end, the game's pretty much over. Now it's a bit of a different situation. Sometimes I think even if you give up 3, you can probably get away with a blank and still try to wait it out. Giving up 4 in the first,
Yeah, I think she had a bit of an.
pretty close to where you kind of have to push the envelope, try and get that 2 back pretty quickly.
Maybe it's a 425. Which one? The one that was here? The one that crashed. Oh, the one that crashed. That was probably a good weight. Yeah.
but it's true. You have to
She
have
also has
patience
been
and
bad. So
don't
maybe it's
give
probably
up until you know it's pretty much impossible,
close,
because
yeah.
we've all seen things in curling that have happened that we couldn't believe. You know, like comebacks out on the ice that are incredible. So it can happen. Doesn't always happen, but it can.
I've been on both sides.
through.
You
Yeah.
have those amazing
back
comebacks,
four?
and you
Okay,
have
yep,
those
then.
games where you walk
If we are
off
back, yes.
saying,
Straight.
how did we lose that
Yeah.
kind of thing. But it happens. The most important thing is, I think, you don't need to necessarily go crazy with the strategy,
Sorry.
but you need to execute.
Absolutely.
And I think sort of what we've seen so far is just that small lack of execution so far from the American side.
415.
That last draw, for example, just making sure you get those rocks into the spots they need to be. You don't need to make
So I think probably 15.
big fancy shots to score multiple points, but you need to get your draws to the forefoot. You need to get your come arounds buried. You need to hit and stay on takeouts.
Yeah.
Just those small, simple things. When you start missing those simple shots, then that's when things start to compound against you.
Another chance here to come around these center guards. They're really getting caught in this spot, though. Coming up light
16,
again in
7.
the spot, and a lot more curl in that spot. I think they're just getting a little fooled on it.
Just the tendency
Do you have
that
the
we've seen
inside?
so far this week, that intern coming home
Do you have the inside?
as opposed to the other side, it's a little
Okay.
bit more, curls a little bit
Kind of thing
more.
Lauren did. I'm just thinking, do we come this way?
It'll just tend to
Or we come
break
this
a
way
little
and-
bit harder.
Yeah.
And I think the
We
weight
know
of
this
the comes
pod.
out
We know it.
that little bit more. So
I'd rather her throw cold on that side.
Me too.
necessarily, you may
I'm
need
probably
to
there.
adjust
I don't mind
the
wicking off if we have
throw,
to.
Yeah, you
but
got
I
this
think
one or
it
that
really
one.
I
is
just-
The
yeah.
hang
on
yeah.
the sweepers too to
Sarah?
understand the path that you're throwing
Right.
down, what it's going to do, and be ready to.
I think I'd rather just leave her the other side cold for her last one. Yeah.
It looks like she's.
If we had less than like edge on edge, I'd probably throw the other side, but sorry, I did not mean to be also aggressively. I just know you can't. You're a thing.
Now she
Got
might be
us.
Do you think speed's okay here? Do you think it's a hair slower this
This
wide?
play off the yellows that are on the side floor.
Okay,
But you're right,
we
that
need a little
that's
wet
pretty
just let her
skinny
know.
ice that she's taking
kind of
for this
icing
shot.
for like the tolerance.
Also might have taken red, yellow.
She could come the other turn, and just there's lots of room on the other
she
side of the
doesn't
sheet
like her
to
Oh, she doesn't like her
place a rock in the top forefoot on that side. But we'll see what happens here.
No line. Line's fine.
Say this
Close.
starts
Play
to
up.
spot very solid
Yeah.
fundamentals,
Yeah,
very
line.
solid mechanics.
It's all the other way, I
Little
think.
bit of a very positive release, so not surprised
Yeah.
to see a little bit less ice taken on the shot. But this one,
Yeah.
we saw it last at
Well-
over curling.
Mhm.
This one seems to be over curling.
You ever tap here?
Both of her first rocks in both ends have
15
over curled.
seconds.
Don't really, I'm not convinced if it's necessarily the stone. Maybe just looks like
Where would that have
a
been?
little bit more ice to be safe.
That rock's a cutter. That rock's a cutter.
But again,
100%.
very
It's gonna
solid.
curl that
It was
way?
back eight, and that curled the most out of every single one.
Release is going to make it
So.
carry a little bit
What am I looking at? Like a
They're
410?
maybe just overcompensating
410?
that one. Still need to take just a bit more.
Did I throw it? You thought it was a hair wide too on that, eh? Nuts.
Huh? I thought it broke early, so
Yeah.
I keep an
Well, because my first one did that too. Yeah, the one that way overflowed that we thought ice would have been fine. My second one.
Yeah.
And the last one
Oh, close.
was wider.
eye. You want me to take it? Or you want Kayla to-
Throw it on my neck.
They're coming through
And
the
then
hole
I'll turn
on
on
that
your
or
nuts.
playing the tap.
Do you want me
And then
to-
we'll. Girl! Trevor. Why did you throw if you control the button? Girl!
Great,
One.
great,
Through one.
great.
On the line right now, they might be able to get through the hole with the plan
Yeah,
B.
we're just like not. We were not gonna ever curl that far.
Same thing.
Okay.
I think we're coming right
Yeah,
here
she-
though.
yeah.
She
that's
actually had
great.
pretty good
And
weight
light's
there for
fine.
the tap.
Yep.
That
Yeah.
one did not
Same
curl.
ice. Below us.
I think I'm gonna
I think that's just sort of a
go
basic
mid.
plan.
No, we're gonna go right there.
When you're holding
So yeah,
the
just
ball,
As long as you're top 4 or higher, it's not bad.
Tried to think about,
I think I'd rather be just biting.
you know, what are we
Yeah.
gonna do if we're heavy?
Throw them?
Slide or
We
like,
couldn't have. It was never gonna curl
sometimes you
that
gotta
far.
think about shots that you think,
It was never.
you know, might be a little bit ridiculous. Maybe I'm sure
Just
they
like
have
half
it
in the
on
8
their
foot, just to
abilities
fully
to
block
show
anything
how
on
to
this
get
side.
through that hole. But sometimes you just have to work with what's given to you, and as soon as you
Yeah,
see
like
that,
guard-
and your speed
guard's
is telling
fine.
you that it's that little
Like
bit
that's the
heavy,
tolerance. I'm probably gonna
I think
throw
it's
it
always
3 on
better
my own
just
and
to
just have you
call
guys
the
sweep
plan
it.
pretty early.
Yes.
Probably
Just go
close.
for it.
Yeah.
Like,
Sometimes
do you
you're
think I
gonna
can get
be
away with like
sometimes,
17?
Maybe.
you know, you're not
If it would
going
have
to
been sideways, it wouldn't have been.
But I think it's always better to just abandon the original call early if you have a reasonable plan B that you think you can make. And I think they just waited a little bit too long.
Yeah, and you see that a lot. People are too afraid to commit to, okay, no, this isn't going to work. Let's go to plan B. Because you have to do it in basically a split second, make that decision. So
Switch.
people are a little tentative sometimes.
Sometimes you don't have the time really to communicate that you're changing.
That's right. Yeah.
So sometimes
19.
you get that friction
Can I
where
get there?
the person in the house has changed their mind and is calling something
If you would
else.
rather draw that.
Okay.
The thrower doesn't realize that, so they're like,
Let me look at it.
Yes. Yeah.
And that all comes down to team dynamics, getting used to
Oops.
each other, knowing who to listen to in certain situations.
That side yellow is
Sorry,
kind
guys.
of hard. I mean, I feel like we should hit it would because if I miss the draw, it's more.
a little more. I just feel like I'm not
Yeah.
like
But wait,
We have a little
Control?
bit
just figuring it out. I don't know.
just gotta get by that one.
Over curling
Okay.
touch. Doesn't
Control, wait.
really block off too much. Looks like there's still plenty of space here to make this hit and flop and score to it for a single point.
This is not an easy shot
Just
by
control.
any means. The hit, maybe. Getting that flop over to actually score, that's going to be tricky.
You don't
Just
have
control.
a lot of
That
space really on either side. There is
No.
definitely a hole
It's never
there,
more than one.
but you're a little
More.
bit
Yeah.
wide and you touch that
Yeah.
yellow, it's probably
Yeah.
a steal.
Good force.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit tight
Sorry, I
into the guard and
No, it's
still
okay.
free.
Yeah, I
Needs to be
mismanaged
precise.
that one.
Yeah.
It's okay. Yeah.
Will not happen again. Will not.
Did I throw those two off?
Final shot
I
here by Addison Neal
Besides you,
against three. It's a precise hit and roll
I
for one.
I can still take your 7.
Just gets
Get
by.
the guard. Will she have enough to stick around?
Go ahead, go, 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 go.
To sit one more turn.
Oh,
One yellow.
Looks like definitely
Yeah,
a
one for
steal
sure.
of one.
Yeah, just
It is just
One?
one.
Yep.
Steal of one for Team Artichoke. They will take a 5-0 lead.
you want me to take
Pretty
the 7?
good shot there by Addison.
It's probably okay. I think I'm just in
Cut
my
that
head a
down,
little.
but just didn't stop in time. That was a little bit too far.
Yeah.
5-0.
When it comes to the game we love, having the right gear makes all the difference.
Goldline's new curling shoes and brooms are a game changer.
The shoes, unbelievably comfortable. And the brooms, lightweight and effective, giving you control on every sweep.
When I step onto the ice, I'm not just prepared, I look sharp.
Have you seen these shoes? They are a game changer.
And the brooms? Light as a feather.
It's a gold line.
It's a Goldline.
It's a gold line.
And is the choice of champions.
Say, can I take one? What do you think for this time? We haven't done it for 2 ends. Oh, like my hair.
And we're back here picking up play in the third end. Tori Zemmelink delivering the first stone.
Lions good.
Or Zipper, as she's sometimes been known to go by. I think I might be the only person that calls her that, but
yeah.
had to slip that in there.
You got it. You got it. Push.
Well, that was a great attempt on that last shot, Matt. That was not an easy shot.
We're
And
30 for
actually,
now.
the sweep
We'll
was
go from
kind of
there.
backed off once it got past the guard. I don't know if a few more licks of the broom would have saved it, but unfortunate that it rolled a bit too far, but still a great attempt.
Should be close.
Yeah, and it's
It's a different line.
very good
It's a
shot.
different line.
Well executed. Unfortunately, just rolls a bit too far and gives up the steal, but
I don't think I'm 2-1.
we talked about it a little bit during the break. Can't throw against 3 and 4 every end and expect things to go well for you. It's really been so far the story of the game through the first 2 ends is
I got it, man. You guys are saying
just a bit of
top 4, so do you
dominance
think
by
that's
this
fair?
Artichoke
Maybe
squad
a
and
lot.
early in the ends, getting things set up, putting Team Pekowitz into some uncomfortable situations, and they just haven't quite had that accuracy that you needed to we need to see to get yourself out of those situations.
It's a bigger kick. That's great. Easy then. Close. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Tori's second rock here, trying to get by this guard.
All right, Caitlin, keep going, keep going, keep going.
Yeah.
That's okay. Okay, good to you,
Yep.
Ben. Lauren, that wasn't just
Minor adjustment. Yep.
okay.
So here's where it starts right here, Matt. This shot needs to be made. It needs to be somewhere in the rings. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be perfectly buried, but it's got to be somewhere in the rings to get things going here for this team.
Yeah, when you're in a situation like this, down by a few early in the game, you still have time to claw back, but it has to start at the top. It has to start with the leads and the seconds rocks, setting things up well, and just making sure to keep your team in a good situation going through the end. Make sure, I always tried to think about when I was playing second, make sure that by the end of my rocks, the situation for the team was better than
If you need me, just call me out.
before I
Okay?
threw my
You
first
want to brush
one.
your head? You got it.
Yeah, you gotta make your opposition come after you, and that's the only way you're gonna get mistakes out of them. Make it a little harder for them.
Please.
And when you're down points, you do have to start making more precise shots. There's no question. Now here's a possible miss right here. So she got lucky with that rock.
Pretty good line call there by MR to Chuck
Yeah.
to recognize that it was a little wide, get the wick off the guard and still make contact.
Okay, what do you think?
That's called getting a break. Yeah, she was clearly not going to hit the
I
rock
think it looks fine. I think you just gotta kick it
on
too
its
hard.
own,
I
but
think
she
you
got a
had a
little
bit of
lucky
it
there
being
with
quick.
the tick.
All good though. You're throwing them off.
But it goes to
That's
show
the-
you that she was going to miss that shot.
Yes,
So
yeah,
this
and
is
you're
where you
gonna-
have to put the pressure on them.
Yep, no teams here are perfect. You're gonna get misses. You just need to put pressure on them to try to force those misses out of them. And when you get them, you have to capitalize on them.
15. Back 8.
Now, Mary, as a former skip myself, I never would have liked calling a shot like that lucky. I would have taken full credit for that. So it was a great line call to get the wick. But
Well, I heard you compliment her on the line call. Yeah.
that was just slipping through and
Down throw.
sort of just what we've been talking about. Those I've said a lot. It can be sometimes be frustrating as a front end player when you play well. Sometimes your play doesn't matter all that much. Of course, the most important shots of the game are the skips rocks. They have the most bearing on how an end plays out or on how a game plays out. So sometimes you can feel like you play 100% and things just don't go well if your skip's not playing well.
Yep.
But if your front end isn't playing well, you're just going to be sewered right from the start.
Sewered, yeah.
So you have to play well because you have to play well, but sometimes it can get frustrating as a front end player.
So
Now
we
that
did have a
one, another
miss.
miss,
Yeah,
yeah.
another miss. So here we go. As we said, just really important here just to get this one in the ring somewhere.
Unfortunately, things worked out really well with that wick that happened earlier for Team Chuck. Not only they made the hit, but rolled behind the center and moved the rocks to staggered. So even if Pekowitz ends up making this draw around the corner, you're still going to have work to do with that situation in the center.
It's less, but it's to it. It's like back 12. Okay. Okay.
And at this point, being up so much, Artichoke's just going to go up and peel that guard anyway.
Yeah.
And then it will be up to Zemmelink team to start working on those ones that are on the center line, the yellow rocks, trying to, because like you say, Matt, eventually that's the scoring area at this point.
What do you like when she peels?
Yeah, it's difficult to see how they're going to do that.
I know.
They might have to play some sort of corner freeze on the shot stone to start and figure things out after that. But Lauren Radula looks like she's going to get a piece of this red, just does. Misses everything on that situation in front of the range.
Do you have that?
Seeing they flashed wide on the last one.
I
That
thought you
one
threw your
just
heel really
ended
well.
up ticking
That was my
the
fault.
guard. We've seen it all week on this sheet, at that right side of the sheet, curls a bit more towards the center line and conversely runs that little bit straighter, trying to curl out to the wing. So I think,
It might be a little too
again,
much,
just
but
getting caught a little
have a lot
bit in
to get
that
around,
spot,
so I
trying to figure out exactly how you need to throw it, where the broom needs to come down.
So that's just why I gave a touch extra. I'm gonna be a little too Plus.
Now it comes down to this. I think either trying to make a corner freeze on that shot stone. If you're a little bit heavy and end up slipping behind to sit shot stone buried, that will work as well. This one curling quite early.
I think it's her rock. I think it's her rocks. I think it's that rock. What did you get?
Seem to have gotten
Just
fooled
rip it
by
out.
that one.
I think it's your rock.
Little bit extra curl than they were thinking. Comes up quite a bit
I
light.
was trying to throw so much
Didn't
more. I think
necessarily seem worried about
Yeah,
it.
no,
early.
I've been saying that.
Hear the comment there from
Alexis,
Madison
go.
Neal, thinking maybe
Yeah.
Julia's
That's
rocks
why
aren't
they
quite
call it
matte.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Because she has come up light a few times, so they're thinking perhaps it could be the rock.
As in like
7-5. Yep.
like actually
Yep.
yeah.
Good girl.
Yeah. Or because they're cutting too.
85.
Yeah. Okay.
So down to skip rocks here again and again it's like they've got nothing going, which is really tough when you're down 5 points.
And it hasn't been for lack of trying.
No.
I mean, they've had opportunities,
That would
just
have been okay. Like I did like the
not
roll
quite
the
as
decent
precise
amount.
as they need to be.
Yeah, like,
A couple of those
I
rocks,
think it was
even
just
when they're
combination
making
of them, like,
draws
cross
around
end to
corners,
end to ending, like,
they're slipping a
4
little
in a
bit
row.
deep,
They said it
or
would have been
coming up a
toppy.
little light
So
on freezes.
It's trying to get more curl.
oh,
Like she's come up light yet again.
right here, yeah.
Seems to have been a,
Love it.
been a
She's in a
tendency
nice
for,
spot
I
where
think,
if they
last
freeze, they're
time
not.
those come around late in the end.
It was still like
She was a
hard.
little bit light on them as well, so
More than enough.
hasn't quite figured out the speed.
Just
We'll
right
make
even
comments
with the
about her
other.
rocks.
So,
It's
just
possible
shy
her
of biting
rocks might
top
be a
four.
little bit slower, but you'd
Mhm.
imagine if both of them are slow,
I just don't want her to be
then
able to freeze and be
you'd
stuck
be
in.
able to make that adjustment.
You guys think this
It's
is
when they're
nice?
different speeds that it can sometimes be a little tricky.
Okay, I think so too. I think it's getting her
See what
swingier,
happens
though, for
here
sure.
with artichokes first. See if she can figure out the draw weight on this side.
Okay.
Important to think about tolerance here. Pretty much
Little light's
anything
not bad
from perfect, I think, is if you can get it like full top 4 buried.
Mm-hmm.
But pretty much anything from there to the hog line is going to be beneficial for you. So light is almost always a good outcome,
Wait.
regardless.
Yep. Yep.
See that nice positive extension throw out to the broom, going to help it track a little bit.
Well then. Okay, take it back 8. Take it back 8 then, make sure. Where? Yep. Hard, full back 8. Back 12 is better.
And curls well
15.
past the guard. Got by the guard
What do
by
we think?
maybe only a
I'm
couple
sorry.
inches,
Mhm.
and she was about
I can't figure it out to my
what,
life.
6 feet heavy, so
Yeah, both skips
Sorry,
struggling
Sorry,
a
I
little
just
bit with
like
draw
can't
weight.
figure out my kick right now to save my life. Really good call on that though, smart.
15.
Oh, perfect.
You just forgot that like that much.
I know. I think I just need to trust that it's just really getting straight.
This side is what? The second faster than that side, do you think? Or do you think
Yeah.
they're even?
I think this side's probably a second faster right now.
So Neil
Did you guys time it?
adjusting her weight on this
I got it.
second one because she's come up light a few times, and
14-3.
now this one's looking heavy.
Needs to put the brakes on.
More.
It looks like it'll slip just too
more.
far,
Okay.
and it'll
I'm
be
gonna give you
sitting
less.
too yellow at the moment. So
okay, I was
Emma
like,
Artichoke's gonna get a second chance
I
here.
promise this one's gonna be
See,
good.
she's
I
taking
promise.
probably about 6 inches more ice, which is nice. That's what I would have liked to see with how close that was to the guard.
Took an
on the
inch more
last
ice too, just in case
Yep.
you thought heavy. And
Hear the comment there, a little bit
Her
more
last
ice.
one,
She
it was
can adjust the
14.3 and
weight,
it didn't
let her
easily
sweepers
fly
put
out
it
of
to a
the
good
spot.
spot.
So I'm thinking this wider path might grab a hair more. I think the speed, yeah. I think the speed should be okay. It just might die a hair quicker.
I don't know. I mean, you're throwing, like, the split of the hot dog is fast. I don't know if that's...
Emma Artichoke, her last rock
Well then,
here in the third.
running.
Chance to sit 3 and put the pressure on Addison Neal once again. Line's looking pretty good. It should curl up. It's up to the sweepers now to keep it above the tee line. There, that ends up in a perfect spot.
15
Doesn't quite get buried.
not
It's
bad.
about
Just like
2/3 in the open.
ice flow and it doesn't
But
show
they
quite
kept
as
the
hard.
top 8, kept
My hair confused, but that's okay.
Addison Neal from having
I
the ability to get to
placed
the
it better for
inside
that
of that
line,
yellow.
so good speed guys. Yeah, you three.
I think this is
really
a
well. I
good
just made
decision right here by the
actually
Americans.
I have like
Addison Neal was pretty much
but
in the
like you
hack
threw both
already,
ones, like so
ready to
that was my
throw.
fault. You're throwing the ball.
But there was a bit of a confusion about what the shot was to call, so Julia Pekowitz calls her back down to make sure everyone's on the same page for what they want to do.
So, like, am I throwing, like, back 4 weight? Yeah.
Yeah. It curled up for you though, right? Did you see that?
And they don't have a shot to get shot rock.
Like, back
You
4
don't
weight.
just because I'm not
Well, I was looking, I think there's an intern. They could go wide with the intern draw on the other side of the sheet and try to just draw around those guards and grab the side of the 4
Just
foot
less
one.
than what I just threw.
Big question mark about what the
405.
sheet's going to be doing out there. Nobody's really thrown a draw
Yeah.
out wide, what the speed's going to be.
Mm-hmm.
I got to agree with you. I don't think you can... I think they're trying to draw just paper by the red guard, maybe get enough to the inside of the yellow that they can squeak through.
Right.
I don't know if there's enough space, even with the extra curl, but we'll see. Final rock here for Addison Neal in the third end.
line pull on that.
Throwing with pressure once again against 3. This rock's starting to curl. Alexandra Pekowitz trying to hold it, get it by the guard,
Oh, no, just...
and it won't. Rex on the guard. It is a steal once again, this time for 3 points for Team Artichoke.
Peace of mind, the life you want, and financial independence. At World Financial Group, we believe your path to any of these goals is paved by financial knowledge. That's why our agents spend every day empowering individuals and families of all backgrounds with the knowledge to create the life they want. No matter your financial goals, WFG can help you own your future. Visit worldfinancialgroup.com to learn more.
Playoffs, like which games
Okay, yeah. Yeah, that would be good.
And we're back once again here. Matthew Hall of Mary Chilvers in the booth, bringing you all the action. In a game that's just gotten a bit out of hand.
Mm-hmm.
So
It's gonna be more.
Addison Neal
You have to
being
go.
forced to some very tough shot making.
14-8.
Really not sure if that last shot was there. Might have been if they just paper by the guard, but she just whiskers it. Gives up the steal 3. It is 8-0 for Team Artichoke here in the 4th end.
Yep, you got it.
Yeah, I think the most she could have done with that shot is cut them down to 1. If she had been able to just sort of tick off the 1 and roll in. I still don't think she could have got shot, but we'll see what the 4th end brings.
These die! They die!
So a game like
Okay,
this,
go.
Mary, I
Finish.
mean,
Cut. So
this
just let it
game,
sit. 3. Yeah.
No, I've seen some
It looks
good
great.
some big
what did he
comebacks in
throw?
the day, but this
What'd he
game's
throw?
probably
Sit.
out of hand
Four-
a lot of the
4:15.
time.
Yeah.
Does the focus shift a little
Go.
bit to maybe your last game of the round robin coming
Okay.
up later today?
Take
Maybe
off
you have a
about
chance
6
to make
feet.
playoffs if you win that. So
What?
try to get a good end underneath you. Just focus on trying to make 7 or 8 shots, get in a good position, and get the confidence moving forward.
Right. Yeah, I think so. And I would assume you're probably going to see handshakes after this end. And then I think it's a time where you go in, and they're so young that
Lions guy.
I think that's where a coach comes in really handy, just sort of help them put it in perspective.
Lawrence rock.
And that game's gone. You're going to lose a lot of games in your lifetime of
Sorry.
curling, so do not worry about it and just move on to the next one.
I think sometimes you have to look at the scoreboard too. I mean, they played an okay second end, had a chance to score one, didn't quite work out that way, gave up the steal. After that, once you're down 5-0, you kind of have to go for it, right? And that's how games really get out of hand.
Right.
If you have to go for it. If you just aren't executing at your best, sometimes the scoreboard ends up looking a lot worse than you're actually doing out there.
Straight. That's what they cut it. Line's good. They will probably cut. You can go.
So
Yep,
it's like
One has a good chance, though, if they can get
Go.
this mostly buried.
Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Okay, that one cuts a little bit more than this one. Okay.
Good wait there by Alexandra Pekowitz. Looks like it's mostly open, 3/4 open. Definitely accessible for the Artichoke team.
Got it. Might need another.
Clean.
What? Whoa! 10-5. 10-5. 11 clean.
Throwing a little extra weight at this shot, but
I
nothing
made a
really
draw.
wrong with that. They have a catcher in the back 8 that they end up
Meg.
using. Spins up to the
What's
full
the
8,
time?
sitting 2.
Another guard. So that
Yeah,
only
and that's a
touched
shot where you're fine with your
1, 2,
shooter rolling out.
3, 4,
Here's where you
5
don't
rocks.
really want very many rocks in play. If you're up this many points.
Yeah, you're kind of, you throw your first 2 rocks into the rings just as sort of an insurance plan. If the other team does happen to get around their corner guards, you're
420.
going to have rocks in there that
420.
they'll eventually have to deal
Really,
with.
the
And you're
block roll.
hoping that that can cover you in case you have a flash or
Three.
something goes wrong. Once you're past those lead rocks, if you're in a situation that you're kind of happy with, like this is, any rocks in play further at this point is almost exclusively only ever going to help Team Pekowitz try to escape, try to find somewhere to hide, something to freeze to. They try to come around, come up a little bit light, ends up as another guard. Fairly close, so there might be a double possibility. The angle's a little bit tricky, though.
Half rock. Should have been closer. Yep. Yep. Whoa. Girl.
Really good
Good shot.
shot. Very
Yeah.
nice double peel.
That is some very good precision, too. The only way to
Good
make
call.
that
Yeah,
double
rough
peel
one
is to hit it a
down.
bit on the high side. But if you ever hit it a little too thin, run it by the red, you run it into your own rocks, put one of theirs in play. Really great shot there by Kaylee.
420 going this way. Yeah, should be close.
I was seeing
About the same.
what kind of curling accomplishments this team had before the game, and first thing Kylie said was, I have an 8-ender.
Oh,
So-
really?
It's quite an accomplishment. Like, do you have one, Mary?
Gotta go.
I have one scored against me.
Ah, well, equally impressive.
I don't like to brag about that one too much. Yeah. But no, I have not. However, I did get a hole in one in golf this year.
Oh, well, that's
So it's
there
almost
you-
the same
there you
thing.
go, yeah.
How about you? 8-ender?
I have had an 8-ender,
Yeah.
not a hole-in-one golf.
Okay.
I'm not that good. I think closest I've come is maybe a couple feet, but
17
but I
for
did
him.
have an 8-under, stole an 8-under actually a number of
Are
years
those
ago
rocks
when I
so
was playing
slow?
out in BC.
They did grind it, I will tell you that. And they also collide.
Now, here's the question, would you trade the hole-in-one for an 8-under?
No.
No.
Yeah, it's the first one that cuts more.
I think the hole-in-one might be a little tougher.
Yeah, so fun. Yeah.
Of course, it's a lot of luck.
Yeah.
The hole-in-one, for sure. Okay, well, some rocks to play here.
Yeah,
What do you suggest here, Matt?
A missed peel opportunity there, leaves a corner. It's tough. If it was me, I'd probably just try and play a straight draw around the corner. I think you do want to deal with those rocks in the 4-foot, but
Okay, so like
anytime you add
Okay,
more details to a shot, I guess I could say, it just makes it that much trickier. So I think just the straight draw around the corner is easier than trying to get to the same place by hitting and rolling.
Right.
The hit and rolls are really difficult shots. Not really made all that often at this level.
They're not.
Unless you're going to bring the weight down to like a hack or a board weight or something you can really control. But at that point, why not just get a rock buried? Just play the straight draw. You can play the straight draw and have the skip know if you are a little bit heavy, you can play the little tick and roll behind as a plan B. Looks like the sweepers might think this one's heavy, so we'll see if they are able to make that happen.
Straight up.
Looks like maybe she was playing the draw.
I think that was the call, yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe just a touch heavy, ticks off the yellow. Gets maybe half buried.
She's a pro. I don't know why she was saying straight.
So definitely still accessible.
Yeah.
Probably just want to throw this hard. Hit what you can see. You might lose the yellow on top of the button as well.
I thought that was on 10.
I think it was set like
But
that.
you're fine with that if you're Team Artichoke. See red, hit red. I think that's the strategy.
What is it?
See red, hit red.
Yeah. Yes.
Yep, hard tails. Hard. Yep, hard tailing. Yep, hard. Gotta go. Hard. Whoa.
Good sweep there by Kelly Delaney. Gets by the guard. Gets the red. Touches off the yellow at the top of the button, as I said. Bit unfortunate, actually pushes it back to a bit of a pocket.
Here? That was funny.
The pocket isn't buried, so I think you kind of have to make the decision whether you're trying to freeze into the pocket or freeze around or draw around the guard.
Oh, shit.
Looks like the call's to go around the guard once again.
Yeah.
More ice. No.
She threw everything. Okay.
Well, I don't know if a 2 is necessarily going to be enough in this game. But if you make one good draw and you get your 2, that can be a bit of a moral victory.
Exactly.
Except that you didn't know where we were last time. So just be louder.
There's always something to learn out here, and maybe
just tell her.
you're down a lot of points here, but maybe pretend you're only down 2 or 3, and see what kind of strategy works for that.
Whoa!
You hate when you see the sweepers walking, what we call walking the dog here.
Let it come in. Let it come in. Let
I'm
it
just
come
sort of watching on, trying to figure out if there's anything they can do with it. Now trying to get a bit of curl, maybe play to the pocket. We'll bump the yellow just a touch too far, I think. Should be fairly makeable pick here for Emma Artichokes. Going into skips rocks now.
How old are they? No, I don't. I'm just asking. Are they 21? I think.
Out-turn peel. Cleans the call. They seem to like it. Touch one. Pushes it by. Nice shot there by Chuck.
What time?
And you know what? I'll give credit to credit where credit's due to the team here. Sometimes when you take that big early lead, a lot of teams will sort of relax a bit. You sometimes get the odd strange miss, but they've really seemed to have their A game all the way through. We've seen a couple misses here and there, but nothing more than you might expect for this level. And they've been executing really well this end, making those picks, not wrecking on guards, throwing it well.
This one's over curling, so they don't, just concentrating on hitting the 4-foot here.
Great weight, just doesn't quite get that finish that they needed once again. Seem to have their weight control this end. Just haven't quite, whether the broom's not quite in the right spot or maybe just not quite curling as much as they need there. Just haven't been able to get that rock buried.
Good weight. I don't think we need as much ice. Well, actually, ice is probably okay. This might could have curled it a little sooner. Yeah, I thought it was a little bit rough. You only know where it's going. Like a
Chuck needs a piece of this red. Might have got it back a little bit on release.
Whoa, okay.
And just set it back. That hair too much flies by. And it'll be an open draw opportunity for two. That's what we were talking about. You just kind of have to stick with it. You're going to get that miss at some point.
Do you want to get this?
Now you got to capitalize on it.
I'll give you
Interesting, like I'm seeing a lot of the girls, we were watching the Swiss team yesterday on how they throw those up weight hits. And it's very much like the Rachel Holman where it's kind of an in-out. Like she definitely in-outed that rock. I don't know if on purpose. I think so. I think that's the way they like to throw it.
I think that was maybe a bit more than she would normally like to. But yeah, you definitely... She has a very positive release, a little bit of a setback. I think that one kind of just got away from her a little bit on the release. Sometimes you feel like you're sliding a little tight and you need to sort of correct it back. So that one just got away from her. But definitely that has been the tendency a lot of the time. I think a lot of what's being taught nowadays is sort of that slide to the inside edge of the broom and finish it out to the outside of the broom with that release. This rock, final rock by Addison Neal here, needs a good piece of the full 8 for her 2 points. Looks like this is going to curl up to the red.
Red. Yeah.
Looks like the call is 2 red, it sounds like. So after 4 ends of play, the first half of the game comes to a close. We have an 8-2 lead for...
When it comes to the game we love, having the right gear makes all the difference.
Goldline's new curling shoes and brooms are a game changer.
The shoes, unbelievably comfortable. And the brooms, lightweight and effective, giving you control on every sweep.
When I step onto the ice, I'm not just prepared, I look sharp.
Have you seen these shoes? They are a game changer.
And the brooms? Light as a feather.
It's a Goldline.
It's a Goldline.
It's a Goldline.
And is the choice of champions.
I think you need to throw that clean.
Okay.
Clean, yeah.
Little line.
2, 1.
Yeah.
And we're back picking up play in the second half of this one. 8-2 lead for Team Artichoke over the Americans out of Broomstones and Ardsley Curling Clubs.
Well, that's what you call a skip's deuce, Matt. Yeah, there was nothing really going until the skip, put a rock in there and the opposition skip missed it, and there's your 2 points. You just hope in a game when you're down so much those misses happen sooner in the end, so you have a chance to accumulate more points. But
Yeah, none of those rocks quite got buried. Even that last one, I think, was 2/3 open. But you know,
I called it 2 seconds
if you
straight.
make enough of those shots where you just get a piece buried, eventually you're going to get that miss by the opposition, and it happened there.
Lauren's rock! Sweet! Line's good! Hard, Lauren! Top 4! Yeah, this one's better. 15-9. Corner freeze. Got it.
This is the second year together for most of these players on the American side. Addison and Julia have actually been playing together since, I think they told me, since they were 6 or 7 years old.
Wow.
So lots of experience together, know each other very well. Obviously seem to like playing each other, or at least you'd hope so if they spent that much time.
Okay, that's not terrible.
Not bad.
Okay. No. Okay. Wait.
Good start here by Tori. Gets that rock buried, top of the 8-foot. 2 center guards
420.
by the U.S. side. In perfect spots. This is essentially 3 perfect rocks to start this end so far. See if Tori can keep the trend going with her second. Team Artichoke with a 1-0 record so far at this event, hoping to move to 2-0.
You still have lots of room. You have so much
Team
room.
Pekowitz started off with a loss, so they are 0-1.
Kaylee, go. Kaylee, go.
And only a 3-game round robin, so really can't afford to drop 2 games, I think. There's about 14 men's, 14 women's, 8 teams qualify for the quarterfinals.
14-8. Just to it.
You might have a chance with a 1-2 record and a really good shootout, but you're putting yourself up against the wall early here with 2 losses.
15's great.
Now, Matt, do you know the winner here gets to go to Switzerland? When do they get to do that?
It's in the new year.
Yeah.
To the back one.
Sir Cass might know the answer to that one. February 19th to the 26th. So they get to go to Bern, Switzerland. And I got that one wrong too earlier in the league where it is. Every time I have a question, I just sit here in silence.
Yeah.
Tells me the answer. But yeah, Bern, Switzerland, mid-February. Top finishing Canadian team will earn that spot. An all-inclusive paid trip for the team and the coach to go with a couple members of the Canadian Junior Cup Committee to Switzerland, play in the Swiss Cup, and it's essentially the same deal over there. The top finishing Swiss team in the Swiss Cup earns the trip to come
Just a
here
single. That's okay.
to play in this event. So we do have a men's and women's team from Switzerland here this week. The women actually won the event.
You don't have my glove on, do you?
So they've now won the Swiss Cup twice.
Maybe. I think you
and
do.
the Canadian Junior Cup.
Okay. I don't know how that happened. Got it, Meg. Because yours are extra small, right? Yeah. She threw a 430. Yeah, these are mine. So 17.
Swiss program has shown some dominance at pretty much every level over the last number of years.
Yeah, I was talking downstairs with someone about watching the Swiss girls here yesterday, and I'm wondering if they're being groomed to be the next Tiranzoni team. I don't know how many young teams, but you could just tell they are, quite advanced.
It's good. It's good. It's good. Good, Meg. We're getting the big garters. You got it, Kale.
Having a rock that was an 80 to now having a rock that's a 450. And the line is, I think, 6 a little bit better.
So looking for the peel here. Perhaps the double peel is in play.
Bars.
Slowly creep their way into a pretty good situation. The rock buried 4 foot. Harley not going to be able to get both, just gets the one. You're going to see a bit of back and forth here. The Americans are going to continue to try and throw that guard up in a good spot.
Just a minor release, yeah.
To peel maybe if later in the end the Americans do end up leaving that
30?
in the 4-foot exposed, you
20,
might
30?
see Emma pick it out, maybe on Vice's second or Skip's first or something like that. But for the time being, it's going to be pretty quick play back and forth. As we move forward the rest of the day, we have 2 more feature games. One at 4:30 Eastern and one at 8:30 Eastern.
Whoa!
That'll conclude our round robin play for the day.
Where?
Quarterfinals begin at 10 a.m. tomorrow morning.
Just over, guys. Just over.
And sometimes those playoff games can get pretty interesting. I know last year,
On its own.
I think on the
Should
women's
take nice.
side, there
18.
were a lot of international teams in the playoffs. So one of the semifinals was essentially 2 Canadian teams playing off to determine who would
Right.
go to Switzerland. So sometimes it
Thank you.
doesn't necessarily come down to the final. Now,
No, that's definitely.
they eventually went on to the final, and you might have the trip locked up, but you're still playing for the title. You might be playing for some prize money, that kind of thing, some points. But all the Canadian teams have their eyes on that big prize, that trip to represent their country.
Is Lexman taking rock?
Well, I mean, I don't know. They didn't list that one.
How do you feel throwing? Nice.
This one got a little bit wide.
She's going to get a little piece.
Yep.
Yeah, that was an opportunity. That was a pretty makeable double peel, I would say, Matt.
The hair
That
on the set?
red guard came in a little
On the
too
set?
heavy, too close to the other one. So they're going to put the guard up one more time, and they really want to try to get as much separation.
Yeah, and I sometimes find when
Their
the
lead-
other
the lead-
team slips that guard a little bit too close, and this is a pretty makeable or easy double peel. Sometimes you find you just try to throw it
What was
up
the
a
last
little
one?
bit too hard,
Yeah.
and it sort of
Okay,
gets
I'll give
away
it touch
from you.
last.
I think the work that Grant Cowan and the planning committee have done for this event is been spectacular.
Little out!
Setting
I don't
up,
think it
think,
is.
A trip to go to a
What's
foreign
up?
country to wear the maple leaf to sort of represent your country. Yes, it's not necessarily like a world championship. It's not like
Just here.
maybe not quite the same as winning a Canadian championship
Sit.
wearing the maple leaf at a world championship.
17,
But I
9.
think there's
Okay,
I think it's still a
exact
very
spot.
outstanding experience for whoever gets to do
touch
that. And
left.
just
It's like about the
just
same
being
spot.
able to travel
How
and
do you-
go
what
to
do you-
another country and play, I think is something
Okay,
that whoever
4:30?
gets to do
How-
it
and
will
it goes like
probably
it's-
never forget.
Absolutely,
close.
especially at this age. Like, how exciting would that be?
Because last time I slid really
You know,
slow and
like,
gave it a bit of an add.
Getting the chance to wear maple leaf regardless of
Do that.
context that it's in
Whoa,
doesn't
whoa,
come
whoa, whoa.
Mm-hmm.
There's been a lot of very good curlers who have played a lot of years and never gotten the chance to do something like that.
Yeah.
So.
4:30? Thanks. 4:30?
We're down to skip rocks here now, Matt. Looks like they're still going to call guard.
I think this is
If
where
it's,
this is now.
Open?
I was a bit surprised on that last one that red was exposed to the floor, but I thought
Yeah, but I
Emma might entertain the idea of picking it out.
Mm-hmm.
Decided not to, walked up, peeled the guard. Probably a smart call. But this shot is incredibly important
Little out, little out.
from Madison Neal to make sure you get out to the broom, that this guard stays out covering that red stone. Because I think this one definitely may be a possibility where if you expose that red rock in the floor, they'll just come down and pick it out.
Just don't touch it. Sit. Okay.
Just like that.
Yeah, play it into the
Pretty
half.
much as good a spot as you could want. Does leave a bit of an easier double pull because you're making sure it gets out there.
Mm-hmm.
But with only one rock left to come by
3
either
corners.
team,
In a row. Maybe that brim right on the
if they
south.
make the double peel, you're
You gotta hold
still
your hold.
gonna be okay. Or have a good chance at least.
Yeah. Julius is in 3 quarters. I think we need
And they've had numerous chances in this end for the double peels. They haven't made any of them.
17? I was like, wait. I've never heard that.
So pretty good chance here, though.
Mm-hmm.
Hit about thick half a rock.
That was a 315.
Should get both reds moving.
Sorry, interesting. Yeah.
Mara to chuck with her first.
Yeah.
Looking to make some red granite move. This one curling up though. She's gonna get it on the nose and actually make the run back. Pick out the rock in the forefoot. I'll give you one. That one. One might have been a bit old.
Yes. Actually curled there.
No.
What time?
You know that rock took off early though. I honestly didn't think she threw it that tight.
Maybe. Yeah, definitely seemed to move. They didn't seem panicked out of her hand.
No.
I think got a bit of lucky with the situation. Picks out the rock in the forefoot. Addison Neal will now have to replicate it, get it buried in there, and then we'll see what's left for Emma Artichuk. But final rock here from Addison Neal.
Line's good, lot of room.
And the Americans needing the forefoot here to be shot.
Straight. Oh, all you. Straight. You gotta go straight.
Sweepers are on it. Looks like line's going to be okay. They'll get by the guard. Now they need the forefoot. Can the sweepers bring it far enough? Working hard. Alexandra and Megan just get it far enough to bite the forefoot, sit shot stone, and force Emma Artichuk to the other side of the sheet. She will need the full 4 to score her 1 point.
That was good. Good end. It was better. Yeah. We started out really funky.
We have not seen a lot of play on this side of the sheet, Matt. This whole game actually has been on the other side.
No, I think, the only shots that I can remember seeing, Tori did throw the intern twice with their first rocks of this end.
Right.
So I think they should have a good idea, but you're absolutely right. Most of the play has been on the other side of the sheet, so we'll see what kind of a grasp they have on the speed and the curl. Needs full 4 here from Emma Artichuk. Kaylee Delaney on the inside, Lauren Radula on the out. They're on it early. Looks like they're going to have to work it for the weight to get it there. Line seems close. Might have to go to get it by that rock top 8.
One red.
And they've dropped off it. Just not enough weight there by Emma Artichuk. Comes up light, and it's a steal of a point.
Oh, watch out. Sorry.
For the Americans and Julia Pekowitz. They will be down.
Peace of mind, the life you want, and financial independence. At World Financial Group, we believe your path to any of these goals is paved by financial knowledge. That's why our agents spend every day empowering individuals and families of all backgrounds with the knowledge to create the life they want. No matter your financial goals, WFG can help you own your future. Visit worldfinancialgroup.com to learn more.
That would definitely have been game.
And we pick up there watching as the between end timer runs down to 0. Alexandra Pekowitz throwing the first stone for the Americans.
Well, the U.S. team has definitely gained some momentum in the last couple of ends. Matt, it's probably a little too late, but again, lots of takeaways that they can, come off the ice and discuss with their coach after this game.
Yeah, and it can sometimes be frustrating for the Artichuk team when you find yourself in this situation. We're talking about it in between ends. I think, if Emma makes her last shot in 4, probably holds the Pekowitz team to 1, might get handshakes there. I think if she makes that draw in that last end, she probably gets handshakes there. So, you're out here for arguably 30 minutes longer than you should be, and it's not a long event, but that extra time can really wear on the body, and see if maybe that comes into play tomorrow if they end up making the playoffs, making it far.
Don't hurry.
But all you can do is continue executing, continue believing. The Americans have got you into a couple tough spots, but you're still in a great situation in the game, up 5 with Hammer. So great shot there by Tori to start. Make sure you set things up well early, make your peels, and give Emma as easy a shot as you possibly can on the last.
Always girl side. Where do you want it? Lot of room.
Gotta go wait.
She's calling this one in the house, playing some typical freeze, but honestly, even a guard here is fine. First guard is quite long, so.
Yeah, and she's out wide here, so if it's going to be... It's not going to get buried. I don't think bringing that into the rings was really helpful.
No.
By bringing that in, you've just allowed Team Artichoke to hit it. It's not a great line. None of it would have been buried behind the guard. But if that's a couple inches higher, it is another guard you can use. Now, I'm a bit surprised with the situation that Emma isn't deciding to hit it.
Yeah.
We're sitting right behind it on the sheet. It looks to be fairly wide open. And you have space to hit and roll into the middle of the sheet, but...
Yeah, this is a little surprising. She looked at the hit, but then she went over and indicated she wanted to draw.
One of the issues she might be thinking of is it's tough to throw peel and just like hit and roll up because you have to hit it high side. You might be worried about jamming it. There might not be a whole lot of space on the inside, so she might be worried about just hitting and rolling behind the guard, and you've essentially now given Team Pekowitz another guard. So those might be the two primary concerns, but I don't know, looking at it, it looked like a situation where you could just call a peel and make sure it goes, but decide on the draw a little bit heavy. Taps that Yellowstone behind the guard, rolls out to the side 4, so definitely there's something working here for the Americans. If you can make a good freeze, there's definitely going to be some chances.
We look really hot.
10. Good sweep for the plan B. Pearl says like halfway down, I'm like, this isn't making it. I got a 405. I got a 405.
So a little heavy on that draw, which is, you know, we're going to see Emma run up there to peel this guard. She's not worried about that red rock at the back of the rings.
No.
More worried about these guards out front.
Yeah, just make sure that the front space is as clear as possible. Worst case scenario, if you keep making these peels, the Americans might be able to make a double on the yellow, maybe sit 3, but even then, it's going to be wide open. You'll probably have a nose hit for your one.
Do you like this coming right here?
Which is exactly what you want. You just want to make sure you skip the easiest shot possible to score.
Good throw. Do you want left? Left! Left! Yep. Got it. Okay, definitely less. I got a 4.
So, throwing the second stones for the Americans is Megan Stoppera.
Wait only.
I believe I was chatting with them before the game, but I believe I remember them saying that Megan is the younger sister or in some way related to Andrew Stoppera, who plays with Corey Dropkin, former multi-time U.S. national junior champion, and I believe national men's champion, at least once.
Yeah. 9.
Addison, the 4th rock thrower, is also a 3rd generation curler. So curling runs deep in these families, it seems.
Well, we have seen even in in Canada, it's definitely a family affair. These curling legends and their kids go on to be legends and siblings. It's really cool.
Keep it on the center. Hard, Lauren. Hard.
Lauren really needs to hold this one to not jam it.
Yep.
Makes contact, removes it. Actually,
Coming at this one.
one turn too far, so it does slip out the side of the rings to the and out of the sheet. Now we get to Julia Pekowitz throwing the third stones. Just trying to make some kind of a freeze here. Not trying to remove any of the yellow rocks, just corner freeze one of the yellows. If you do corner freeze the rock on the right side of the center line, put it in a good spot. It's kind of hard to remove any of the red rocks. Well, you could walk up and peel the high one. That would leave a bit of a situation going on in the 4-foot that the Americans might be able to use to their advantage. This one maybe a little bit heavy.
Just losing a little bit of line on this one. The weight was actually quite good.
Yeah, really important that you kept that red rock on the other side of the yellow. It actually went across the face. And now if you make the peel, if you do end up catching that yellow on the way by, it's probably going to go back and take out the red back 4 as well.
You're hitting, I think,
not great communication on that one. The person in the house needs to get those sweepers on it. The weight was pretty close. It wasn't like it was overly heavy. But they did have to keep the line on that one.
Lauren Radula and her first rock of the end, trying to make some reds disappear. This one is moving early out of her hand.
Roll the yellow,
Zemmelink trying to hold it. Gets one, gets two.
Great.
Sticks around on the center line, top 4.
We figured, we just couldn't hear what you were
As good as you
saying.
could ask for.
You might be able to get both, but just control. Might be freezing to this one, but I just down weight like this. 11 would be great.
As we look across the sheets here, there's plenty of curling action going on here. If you are local, come down and watch the event, support the curlers. If not, we thank you for tuning in to our marquee matchup, each draw. All other scores can be found on the Canadian Junior Cup website. Last round robin day, so lots of teams jockeying for position. Those draw for hammer scores are going to be very important moving forward.
Oh! Straight!
The Americans trying to make some kind of double here, Mary?
I think in the roll. I think it was, yeah.
Just over curls, gets the one, stays there.
Yeah, I heard it going straight. They didn't get on it.
Very good end played here by Team Artichoke. Really can't see a world where they're not going to have just a nose hit for one at the end of the day. Zemmelink on the inside trying to hold this stone. Don't want it to cross center. Get rid of the red. Roll over to the side of the 12-foot. Sit 2. Mission accomplished.
Oh my god, Kaylin, right here was it actually straightened out right at the end. Like it was 4:15. Okay. Straight. Oh, just got sorry. I love that color. Yeah, it's so good. Good pulse.
Away straight side.
Looks like they may have to go on it.
16-3. Yeah, keep going, guys. Do it, right
So
to
he
it.
definitely
Frozen,
has a
frozen.
chance,
Keep
though.
it coming,
We're
keep it
working
coming
it.
hard.
Need to just bring it a couple
Keep
extra
going,
feet.
keep going, keep going, keep going.
Ends up in a pretty good spot.
Really nice shot.
Are you going for the pick?
Little bit of space, so I think it
Just
definitely
make
is
them all go.
accessible to get rid of.
You
You're
can probably
probably
make
going to
them
lose all
turn
your
around.
yellows
We
with
could
it.
go that one, that'd be awesome, but I just don't want to play it too cute.
Unless you get it super thin and try to stick your shooter
Like
on
that's for
the
space.
one side 12.
It's okay. That was good. Your line was pretty good.
Just a nice quarter is good.
Yeah, and if
Yeah.
she makes this, the
Yeah.
U.S. skip
I knew it was your
will
rock.
be able to come around that red one that's sort
Yeah, I
of
just-
acting as a corner guard. She actually could get
No, but I
shot
said I
rock
think
out of
it's
it.
her
'Cause
rocks.
as you said, I think everything's going to be flying here, Matt. They're all going to be rolling out.
I
So
was questioning it, but I was like, well, maybe it's just me.
perhaps
No, after the first
Emma
time,
will
I
have to
said, I
draw
think
for
it's
her
her rocks.
single.
And they go, I don't know. And I was like, I think so.
Her shot here for Emma might have got a
Whoa,
little
no,
bit back
please.
out of the hand. Sweeper's watching it, makes contact, gets all the rocks out,
Split.
leaves red sitting one at the side of the
Well, then
12,
you just-
at
yeah,
the
you
top
got-
of the
I may
12
or
foot.
may not have
Excuse me.
slid up the side. Same thing I just did.
Two options: can split the rings or draw around the red. I think
How's
drawing
our
around the
test?
red's probably
Wait,
your
get that
best
rock
chance
back
at a steal here.
Yeah, if you look at the last end, Emma actually had to draw the 4 foot to take a point, and she didn't make it.
under.
So if I'm playing against her, I think I'm probably leaving her the draw, even though I'm sure she will make it. But she's an excellent hitter.
410. 415.
Addison Neal with her final rock,
Stay close. Stay close.
wanting to get this buried line. Looks close. Sweepers seem to
Girl,
like
girl,
it.
girl.
Definitely needs to curl up a little bit at the end. We'll bring it into a good piece of the 4 foot, mostly exposed, probably at least 2/3, 3/4 open. Definitely accessible for Emma Artichuk.
Draw or not?
Whatever you're feeling.
Two options here: either draw the full 4 foot, or
Gotta curl. I know.
I'd see like a hack waiter,
Yeah.
hack or board waiter, try to
How much did quarter
take
under?
out the rock that was just thrown. Do have to negotiate that top red.
I mean, she has to hit enough of it to stick around. Yeah. Good. Pretty good. It was better.
Just 12. I feel like I'm kind of vibing with this a little more than right
Spot
now.
has been running a touch straighter this game, so sweepers should be able to hold
close.
it.
Seen it here, but
Need to make sure you stick
I feel like I can
around
actually
after
like feel
contact
a
for
little
your
bit more of
one.
the drop. Now that I like actually feel like it took for me it's a little
Yeah, these aren't the easiest shots. You've got that
throwing
one
like 15 instead of
top red one sort of in your vision. You definitely don't want to tick on that.
especially hard with the bird drops.
Final rock of the sixth
They
then.
were telling me to pivot.
For Emma Artichuk looking to score her single.
Oh, okay.
Sweepers seem to like the weight it is tracking a little bit. Now Kaylee's on it to try to get it to
Good
curl
throw.
up to the rock. It will. Makes contact. Removes it. Sticks around in the 4 foot for her 1 point. Score is now 9-3 for Team Artichuk over the American squad
Keep playing for yourself.
of Team Pekowitz.
You have the ice. Same thing. Okay. Oh, wait. No, we don't have that. Never mind.
When it comes to the game we love, having the right gear makes all the difference.
Gold Line's new curling shoes and brooms are a game changer.
The shoes, unbelievably comfortable.
And the brooms, lightweight and effective, giving you control on every sweep.
When I step onto the ice, I'm not just prepared, I look sharp.
Have you seen these shoes? They are a game changer.
And the brooms, light as a feather.
It's a gold line.
It's a Gold Line.
It's a gold line.
And is the choice of champions.
We have more experience in losing, right? We know.
And we're back picking up play here in the 7th end. Score is 9-3 for Team Archuk.
You can curl it, but it doesn't have to.
Oh, yeah?
It's good sweeping. 16.
First rock there by Tori Zemmelink into the top of the rings.
Little hot. This one's, it's already three. Never curl.
Three, can't go.
Two, curl it.
Three.
No, don't curl, don't curl.
Three.
If anything straight.
Straight?
No, it's just like, this is the only cut, so it's just,
Go ahead. Just a little. That's good. Right to the thing. Good. Good, sweet. I got like a 4-10 on that.
what was the time on
I
that?
thought this game was over in the 4th end. No, but like, oh, at least we scored. Yeah. I started playing better.
A little bit close.
Hair wider.
We're a little wider.
Just let it come in. The line's not great.
Just hit that.
Roll that one off. Good judge. Kaylee, 14-7.
Mary, I'd like to take the time here to give a quick shout out to a mutual friend of ours in Lunenburg, Nova Scotia.
Mm-hmm.
Lorietti, if you're listening. Lori and Mary, co-hosts of the Two Girls in a Game
Whoa.
podcast.
We're a touchdown.
Do we have anything interesting stories breaking coming up? Can you give us the inside scoop, Mary?
Okay.
Well, it's been pretty quiet because, Christmas and all, so
Yeah, curl,
I don't
curl.
think there's anything too exciting to talk about today, Matt.
16-1.
So looking forward, we have the whole playdown system coming up, the Scotties and the Briar coming up in the new year, new sponsor for the Briar. So first time we'll
I'm not
get to
trusting.
see how the Montana's Briar feels
Yep.
to say.
10-5.
Yeah.
I'll say I'm not quite used to it.
Yeah. I
I've
think-
only ever known the Tim Hortons Briar. I'm sure you've known it by some names
Oh,
before
yes.
that as well.
Yeah.
But
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is my favorite time of the year. Once January hits
'cause it
in
doesn't-
curling, that's when, to me, is the real excitement of the game, is to see who's going to make it to the Briar and the Scotties and who's going to win.
and for many of these teams as well, will
Lauren,
be progressing
Lauren,
forward
Lauren,
to their
Lauren, you're closer,
provincial
closer, closer.
championships or their playdowns shortly after this event. Usually the juniors and the U18s happen in and around January. I know I've seen a couple U18 championships already starting in a few provinces, BC, Saskatchewan, I'm pretty sure. There's probably some others that I haven't seen yet, but we're getting right to that time. It's just exciting. It's exciting to watch. It's exciting to see. There's always those new teams that break through that you don't expect to
Got it.
Yeah.
get their first Briars or Scotties or Canadian juniors, whatever it may be.
Yeah, good luck to you, Matt. You'll be playing down to get to the Briar.
Yeah, in good old Saskatchewan,
Yeah.
provincials, the Tankards at our home club
6.
at the Nutana in
Not room.
Saskatoon.
6.
Should be a good event.
Oh,
Lots
yeah.
of
Can
great
you
competition,
curl
of
it?
course.
5.
The usual
Curl.
suspects: Steve
Curl.
Laycock, Hartong, Mike McEwen's now playing out of
Stop.
Saskatchewan,
Curl,
so
stop. Keep going.
gonna
Keep
be
going,
gonna be a
keep going,
good
keep
battle.
going, keep
Yes.
going.
we think
All
out
full
there.
stops. Keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going.
That's not bad.
Okay.
Is it under? Okay.
Yeah, our Ontario Tankers
Hair
and
length?
Scotties is actually only about a month away, so
You've already started your playdown process, Miss Masters champion.
yeah. Now I gotta focus on the seniors in February.
Okay, wait. It's our bad, if anything. I think this is okay. Yep.
This end progressing along. We got a corner guard up. Team Pekowitz has continued to try to get one buried around the garden, never quite getting fully buried. So Team Artichoke has continued to pick these stones out. A couple rocks sitting around, or had a couple rocks sitting around in the 8-foot. After a bit of a bump there, removes one of them, spins out to the other side of the 12.
10. Okay. Yeah. I think that should be better. Yep.
I think on this this ice, we've seen a lot of
Said she got a 10.
attempts
She
to
said she
come
got a
around
10.
corner guards, and they never seem to get fully buried around the guards. So those corner guards would probably be a little more useful, even a little bit tighter to the rings.
Mm-hmm.
You can curl.
Well, I think what's interested me as well is that they seem to keep trying to throw these corners on the same side.
Right.
There was one end where there was a corner guard sort of side 4 on the left side as we look at it. But for the most part, I'd say 90% of those corner guards have been on the right side of the sheet.
16,
Sometimes when that happens,
16-3.
I think it
Or
is
sorry,
actually
16-9.
straighter, the side that they're trying
Sorry.
to go to. So I think it would actually be useful to
Seven-
try
it
out
was
the other
69
side.
bucks, so 69
Sometimes if
seven.
things aren't working, just change it up.
Oh my God,
Throw a
isn't
corner
bad
guard on the other side of the sheet.
Yeah.
Just give yourself some time to see if it's easier to get around that. Maybe you get something working.
Hey, please.
Something to
Hard
think
Kelly.
about.
It is,
Hard
and
Kelly.
that again is where a coach comes in handy, because there are so many
Hard, sorry.
things that you have to think about out there.
Mm-hmm.
That sometimes it just doesn't come to your mind that, oh, maybe we should be trying to put this on the other side of the ring. Just stuff like that. So that's when you need the eyes behind the glass to sort of point these
Megan, your
things
last
out
one was at 17.
to you.
It's like
You can get into a zone for sure.
So we move on to Julia Pekowitz now. Her first shot of the end. We'll try to get buried around this corner guard once again. Now it's a little bit tighter, as you said, Mary, so might be a touch more useful.
Yeah, and when it's tighter, I mean, again, though, gives the opposition an easier chance of perhaps
don't
playing
they
a run
will.
back to remove the rock
Whoa.
that's behind it. But even if you can get this one behind that one and with a lot of separation, it doesn't matter if it's back 8.
where?
Get a little more separation, and then they maybe can't play that run back as easily.
Line's looking good on
Oh,
this one,
7-2.
but maybe just a touch heavy once again. We'll see if it can put the brakes on.
I rushed on.
And it won't. It'll just slip through. So now the open opportunity to peel for Lauren Rajala and more or less take the end away.
What? Whoa, 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 whoa. Sorry. Sorry.
Needs to get a little bit of curl. Just Will touches it. Moves to the guard from play, rolls through. And now nowhere to hide for the Americans here in the 7th.
Almost falling again. It's like my broom is not at the right spot. I keep breaking the freeze. A little less. Okay.
Julia Pekowitz attempting to make a freeze here down to the yellow rock in the 8-foot.
That's hot. 16. Hard! 16! Hard! Okay. You good?
Comes up a little bit light, leaves Team
Okay.
Artichoke sitting shot.
Just watch that background.
No reasonable reason I can think of to leave that or try to play anything aggressive. Just throw peel, still
I
try and
can.
just remove the red from play.
I don't know what else.
Watch
Maybe
the
use
catcher
your
in the back corner, but other than
Yeah.
that, you should be fine.
I don't know. Maybe you do. Tell them to look up. Just Easy throw. Just follow. Make sure you just follow the red because it could stuff onto that back red. I throwing it hard enough that it's going to be really hard to, but just. Clean. Whoa.
Artichoke and her first, a little
Lauren.
wide out of the hand.
Lauren, peace.
Might need to come up to catch a piece. It will. Rolls out between the other yellow stones, so remains sitting 2. Another one, like you were saying there, Mary, just a little bit back out of the hand.
Yeah.
Tracks on her. Got away with it this time. Still caught a piece, but those can come back to bite you every now and then.
Yeah, no, I just need to. I think I'm just bending my arm too much on those interns.
You're a rock. You're in the hack. You're pushing it. Like you're moving the water.
I just have to. Just have too much.
Back in the last 16-2. You gotta go. Yep. Keep going. Both of you. Go.
Inside edge this time.
Nice freeze there, but does still leave a little bit of room for Emma to pick this rock out.
Are we shot?
Just taking ice on the outer edge of that rock. I'm going to watch her release here. See how she actually throws this rock. She slides a little bit tight and puts it out.
Clean. Yeah. Clean.
Nicely done.
Gets the one, avoids the jam at the back. Sits 2, and final rock to come here for Addison Neal. Chance for 1. Going to take on the draw.
That's better. Yeah. Just setting it. Have that rock just a hair more forward.
Turn draw here for
Yeah,
Addison Neal to put one on the board.
Not the vibe. Were you singing that yesterday? There was a song I was singing, and I was just like,
All you.
Sweepers are working it the whole way. Need a piece of the 4 to score her 1 point. But it just won't get there. Looks like a steal of 2 for Emma Artichoke and handshakes. That's the game. Final score 11-3 for Team Artichoke out of the Guelph Curling Club. They are the winners. They move to 2-0. Team Pekowitz will drop to 0-2. That does it for our future coverage here of this draw. We will be back in just over 2 hours at 4:30 Eastern for our next marquee matchup and penultimate round.